Hey everybody, it's Doug Green and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News, and I'm very pleased to have with me live from RSA, Douglas McKee, who's the Executive Director of Threat Research at SonicWall. Douglas, thank you for joining me today.
Absolutely. Happy to be here. Excited to be on the show again.
Well, let's dive right into it. So SonicWall is live today from RSA. Tell me about what you guys are doing. What's happening?
Yeah, I'll show you a little bit around. Right, I'm here on the expo floor at RSA, talking about some of the new things that we're releasing for in our portfolio. Probably most notably, upcoming, we're releasing a new program called MPSS, which is around managing firewall systems, which is really the ability for us to partner and help manage some of the misconfiguration and patching that we see in the industry. So one of the number one problems, in fact, 95% of all breaches are a result of human error. And so by offering a service where we're helping to validate the configuration of firewalls and keep them updated, we're trying to help battle some of that problem. So that's probably one of the newest things that we're doing here, telling our customers and partners about here at RSA.
All day, what are people saying?
Yeah, I think people are excited about it. You know, it takes some of the pressure off of them, and there's some of the concern about having to have the knowledge in place for ensuring the right configuration for firewalls. You know, it's for decades we've had this issue where you buy a product from a vendor, and if you're not well versed in how to set up that product, by design, they're not in the most secure configuration out of the box. It has to be customized to your organization and what your needs are. And so I think there's a level of excitement about being able to know that they have a partner with them to configure that in a secure manner. And then on top of that, partnering with Cysurance, we're able to offer, because it's being managed, cyber insurance as well as part of that offering.
Now, you know, you're that's your daily work as executive director of threat research. You're looking at the threat of the landscape threat. I understand you have a report coming out in a few days or a few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that me and my team do is we like to share threat information. It's really important as a defender from cyber threats to be well informed on what's going on in the industry. So we released an annual threat report. So we released our 2024 cyber threat report back in February, and then that gets stale pretty quick, right? You need updated information. So what we're coming out with here in just a couple of weeks is a report on what we're seeing in Microsoft landscape. When I say the Microsoft landscape, I'm saying vulnerabilities and malware being used against Microsoft products. So we're seeing quite an increase in attacks there. There's about an 11% increase year over year from 2023 to 2024. But I think the most interesting fact that you're going to find in this threat brief is that it's not always the threats that you think are the most dangerous are the ones that attackers are actually leveraging. So let me give you an example. You know, we're always concerned today, and if you look around the show, everyone's talking about AI, right? Probably the number one topic you'll see at the show today. And the other thing you're hearing about everywhere is these, 0 days that are in the news, these really high CVSS 9.8 vulnerabilities that are coming out on a regular basis. But when we actually look at the data on what threat actors are leveraging and bringing it back to the Microsoft vulnerabilities, we see that 60% of the time, the vulnerabilities being leveraged are either what's called escalation of privilege vulnerabilities or security bypass vulnerabilities. And they don't typically hold a very high CVSS score. And so it just goes to show that we want to make sure that we're defending and prioritizing the right thing when we're talking about defending our networks. And prioritization is really the name of the game. It's the hardest thing for a CISO to do. And so by providing up-to-date threat intelligence and threat research, we're able to help organizations to know this is what's important to me today.
Is that actually part of what you guys have been talking to people today about at RSA? That ability to talk to them this way?
Absolutely. We're definitely helping to educate our partners and customers and provide that information so that they're able to better defend their networks.
Now, Douglas, I understand also that you guys have been looking at the vulnerabilities specifically for MSPs.
Yeah, so I mean, MSPs are in a unique position, right? Because they're helping small businesses to protect their organizations. So we want to look at what vulnerabilities are they seeing most often. And so, for example, a lot of times we talk about network vulnerabilities. And so we take a look at what are some of the most critical network vulnerabilities that are the most widespread. And that's a key component here. Because oftentimes we say, oh, there's a vulnerability or there's something that's an exploit that's being leveraged and it's being leveraged a lot, but it's only affecting a small portion of the industry. So one of the things that we're looking at when we're talking about MSPs is what is affecting the largest number of customers. So we dig into that data. Some of the things that we're talking about is, believe it or not, Doug, we're still talking about really old vulnerabilities. About 50% of organizations that we're servicing through MSPs are still being affected by things like Log4j and Heartbleed. And if you've been around long enough to remember, Heartbleed at this point is over a decade old. But we're still seeing approximately 50% of organizations affected by that vulnerability. And so this all comes from looking at data that we get from our customers and partners and the telemetry that we have for our firewalls. But again, it's all about making sure that you have the right information in your hands to prioritize the appropriate things.
So, as we close up our quick live podcast from RSA, let's bring SonicWall back into the mix. Tell me about how SonicWall helps the MSPs with these issues.
I think probably the biggest thing is being a trusted partner, right? SonicWall has evolved over time. They've gone through quite a bit of a transformation from almost 30 years of being a firewall company to now more of a complete cybersecurity vendor. We're able to help our partners and MSPs on multiple levels. One, we're helping in the cloud with providing a ZTNA solution. We're also able to help with our Sonic Sentry offering, which is providing full MDR and managed services. And then, of course, we still have a very strong firewall, which is helping protect against threats by ensuring things like virtual patching is in place and signatures on a daily basis. So I think it's an exciting time to be a partner with SonicWall and have a more complete package.
So Douglas, you guys are actually at RSA, and in fact, you are exhibiting at RSA.
Yes, sir. We are here for the entirety of the show and giving presentations and just talking to partners and customers.
And you're in booth 6353, and that's in the North Hall?
That's correct.
Where are you near, just so people might be able to see sort of some landmarks?
Yeah, we're not too far from the entrance there. There's an entrance to the booth over on this side. We've got the CrowdStrike booth that we're pretty close to. So there's the 6400 sign. So we're not too far from the 6400 sign in the North Hall as well.
And if people come on down, what are they going to experience at the SonicWall booth?
So we've got a coffee bar here, which is great. So you can get a free cup of coffee. And then we've got several presentations running all day to learn about some of the new services and products that we have to offer and learn about some of the threats that our SOC is seeing as well.
And for people that are not at the show, how can they learn more about SonicWall?
Definitely the best place is to check out our website, sonicwall.com. You can also, that's where you go to find our threat report that we released in February and the upcoming threat briefs that are coming out throughout the year.
Douglas, I really want to thank you for joining me today. And I want to thank you for setting up your phone as basically a podcast studio. That's terrific. It was a very good experience. I want to wish you the best of luck at the conference. And want to suggest to everyone, take a look at sonicwall.com. Lots of great information on board there. I look forward to our next podcast. But for now, thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Doug. It was my pleasure. And I can't wait till next time.